I was not impressed when I first saw the LEGO Ninjago City Workshops, but after building it, I might have changed my mind. Thanks to LEGO for sending this set over for review, and let's go ahead and give this set a grade out of 100 and see if it's something you should be adding to your collection. Let's go ahead and start off by looking at the 10 minifigures that come with this set, starting from the least expensive up to the most expensive as of this recording. First, we're going to start off with a couple generic figures. We're going to get a workshop mechanic, a restaurant worker, and then a model shop owner, along with a Dragonian tourist, which is going to be the first minifigure over $5 in value. Then we're going to get this exclusive version of Zane here. I really like the color combination as well as the printing on the torso and on the legs. Next up, we're going to get this Pixel minifigure. This is not an exclusive minifigure, but another nice minifigure nonetheless. Then we get a Dr. LaRoe minifigure here, which is exclusive to this set, and I believe the first time that Dr. LaRoe has appeared in a Ninjago set, if I'm not mistaken. Twitchy Tim follows her up next. A pretty plain minifigure, but I do really like the torso on this minifigure. Then we come to the two most exclusive, sought after, and most expensive minifigures, with the first one here being Dorama. This is a great looking minifigure. I love the all purple. I love the top hat. This is an exclusive minifigure, and I believe also the first time we've seen Dorama in a LEGO set. And then the most sought after and most expensive minifigure in this set is this casual Harumi minifigure. This is an exclusive version of this minifigure in this set. Great looking minifigure. I really like the hood on the back here. The chopstick in the hair is also kind of cool. So all in all, great minifigure to add to this set. All right, so now to look at the actual build itself. And like I said, when I first saw this, when LEGO first announced it, I was not impressed by the look. All of the other previous Ninjago City sets I've been very blown away by when they were first announced. They all looked amazing. This was kind of the first one when I actually saw it for the first time. I was kind of almost let down in a way. I just didn't pop. It didn't look all that amazing, and it kind of looked small compared to some of the other Ninjago City sets. But getting into the actual build, this is going to come with 3,244 pieces, which is significantly smaller than a lot of the Ninjago City sets. $250, so it's also a cheaper price point, to be fair. It's going to come with two manuals, of which I will note in the front of the first manual, get this really nice Ninjago language translator so that you can translate all the different signs that are going to be on this set. And then it comes with 3 sticker sheets, which is absolutely insane. I typically don't mind getting a few stickers, but 3 sticker sheets is just way too much in my opinion. Then getting into the build itself. On the left-hand side here first, we get this mech workshop essentially at the very bottom here. The big thing I liked with this room here, even though it's pretty empty, is the fact that we get this really nice mechanical door by turning this knob, moves the door up and down. And I like the fact that they made the door curved versus a typical garage door, which would be just straight up and down. You can also take the back off of this room here to get more access into here. There's not a whole bunch going on in here, but we will talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. Moving up to the second floor, which one thing I did note, which I found kind of odd, is there's not an actual way, at least that I can see, to get up to the second floor, unless I guess you attach another Ninjago City set to it. On this second floor is Zane's apartment. There's a couple things on the wall. He's got a little bed with some art as well on the walls. But then probably my favorite part to his room was this little bonsai tree in this little pot here by his bedside. I thought was awesome. Moving up to the third floor, which actually does have a stairwell to get to it, which is pretty nice. We get Dorama's magic shop here. This is a nice little room. It's got a bunch of different references in here. It's got some art on the wall, coin in the drawer, but then I really liked the record player sitting on the table here and the parts usage with the gun and the bowl mimicking that record player, which is awesome. And then on the outside and the top of the magic shop, we get this nice puppet that is brick built, and then some signage on the outside just kind of marketing the magic shop there. On the right hand side at the very bottom, we get a noodle shop. The noodle shop was really cool. I really liked the way they did kind of the bars to the noodle shop on the outside here. I also liked the Fabuland reference on the very bottom, as well as the Octan tank here right to the left-hand side of the noodle shop. And then you also even get some egg drop soup sitting on the counter if you're hungry. Moving up right above that, we get a crane here. Now this crane is nice. You can turn this. It'll actually drop the chain and the hook down so you can grab stuff for the mech. And then you can also move this knob back and forth here, which will change the positioning of the hook. And then you can take the stairwell up to the third floor, and then the third floor will pull out here like most of the other floors. And this is going to be the mech model workshop. We got a bunch of tools and paintbrush on the wall here. We also have a bunch of available for sale mechs, which is really cool. And then also right front and center, we get this Cole's Titan mech, which looks really good and actually does have some movable limbs, which is awesome. And then at the top of the model workshop, we get this really big crane. It does move right to left. It's got a bunch of knobs on it, so you can turn this right to left. You can drop the hook up and down. You can move the actual arm up and down. So it's got a lot of movement, which is really cool. And then the center to this whole set is going to be this plain gray mech. The first thing to note is there is a really nice base for it at the bottom. So you can turn this knob, it'll actually move the base over the water front and back, and then it's got a hook at the back so that way it can stay stationary. Now, I didn't even realize it when I was building this set, but my favorite part to this mech is the fact that while you're building this set and kind of getting all the way to the end, which the very last thing you do is build this mech, you're actually putting pieces around the entire set that then later are going to be able to be attached to the mech as its armor to kind of dress up the mech itself. So really cool, and we can take our mech and we can attach his legs to these studs that are sitting on the bottom platform, and now he is sitting right front and center in the middle of this build. Like I said at the beginning, I was not impressed with this when I first saw it, but now after building it, it definitely changed my opinion a lot on the build experience. Is it the best Ninjago City set out there? I wouldn't say so, but it's still a very good build experience and a lot better than I was expecting. Looking at display and play, this set has definitely grown on me as I've built it. I don't think it looks better than Ninjago City. Putting all three of the ones that I have built together just so you can kind of see what they all look like together in a line. This is what they all look like. They all have a very similar look and feel with some differences, obviously, but I would say that this one is shy of Ninjago City, but does look better, in my opinion, than the Ninjago City markets. As far as play functions on this set, I would say, again, it's solid. It's not amazing. You get a couple cranes, you get the platform that moves back and forth, and then you get some good minifigures that can play in the set with the different rooms that pull out, but there's no feature that really just blew me away as far as functionality in this set, so I would just kind of say it's solid in that category. Getting into the overall value, you get 10 minifigures, like I said, in this set, and that is one thing that actually did surprise me, because looking at the LEGO Ninjago City markets, which I just reviewed, the value on the huge amount of minifigures that came with that set was not overly high, and there wasn't any minifigure that really had like a large value. With only 10 minifigures in this set that are almost $150 in value, with one of them almost hitting $50 in value, that really surprised me, actually. Now, will the value in those minifigures go down a little bit over time as this sits on the market longer? Probably, but that's still a pretty impressive value for this being on the shelves somewhere in that 6 to 9 months range at this point. Price per piece on this set is not bad. It comes in just under 8-cent price per piece. Now, with that said, all the previous Ninjago City sets came in the 6-cent range. So 8 cents is still a lot better than the typical LEGO set that we see. And the Ninjago City sets have always been a good value in that respect. However, it is a little disappointing to see it go up a couple cents per piece on this one. Regardless of all that, though, I would say this is still actually a very solid value at $250, especially considering the minifigure value and the fact that we are well under 10-cent price per piece on the set. Now, going over to you guys, the community, what did you all think of the set? And kind of combing through some of the comments, thank you for commenting, by the way. I pulled out this one, which kind of took the words right out of my mouth, from Desert Dwight. The comment says, "It really grew on me. I like that LEGO gave us a smaller, cheaper city. They can't all be massive." And I think that really sums this one up a lot. It's really nice to get a set that's under $300 in the Ninjago City range, which is cool. Yes, it wasn't impressive right at the get-go, but I think for me, it's kind of one of those ones that's kind of got to grow on you a little bit. But putting all that aside, though, looking at the actual poll, looks like just around 70% voted this a like, and then just over 30% voted this set a don't like. So there is still a decent portion of the LEGO community, it appears, that do not like this set. And will that grow on people? I don't know. Definitely one that I think has the potential to grow on a lot of people, but it's kind of one of these sets that kind of sits in that middle ground. It's not incredible, but it's not bad either. So just kind of a okay set is what it appears for most people. So looking at all the grades on this set, the final grade is going to fall at 82 out of 100, which is going to put this set into the consider buying this set category. It's not going to fall into the must buy, and I don't think that this is a must buy set, at least for me, in my opinion, but it's still a solid set and definitely has grown on me over time. So no need to rush out and get this one. It's not retiring this year, 2025. Look out for a discount. I'm sure a discount will come around in the future on this set. So at $250, if you could get this for $170 to $200, I think this is a solid set that would be at a much better price, and I think that would make it a lot more worth it for some people that maybe are on the fence about this one. So that's my thoughts and opinions. This one definitely caught me off guard. I did not think this was going to be one that I was going to like, but I ended up actually thinking it was a decent set. So thanks for watching as always, and I will catch you in the next one.